Hi, you've reached. Hi, you're listening to And If Love Remains. I am your host, Mike Levitt, and I am in studio with...
Matthew Levitt. I reached here a few minutes ago after listening to an anime opening to hype me up a bit.
Whoa.
This amazing podcast is about to happen, so it's going to be awesome.
Tell me about this anime intro you watched.
So it's an anime about a dude who turns into gold, and it's really cool. So basically, he has to eat humans to survive, but he doesn't want to because he used to be a human, and it's a really cool idea. That's what I'm.
Wait, say that again. He was what?
He was a human, and he turned into a ghoul.
What's a ghoul?
A ghoul is like it's in this.
I'm old, dude.
In this sense, it's something. It's a creature that eats humans, basically.
Okay.
And he used to be a human, so he doesn't want to eat humans for obvious reasons. But he has to survive, and like regular food is like literally he can't eat it because, it's basically poisonous.
That's brutal.
It's brutal. It's kind of a fun like idea though.
Huh. And so you just saw the opening. Have you seen this one before?
I've seen like 6 episodes. It's pretty good, but I really haven't gotten around to watching the rest of it.
So anime is kind of a new thing for you, relatively new for you.
Yeah, it's pretty new, but like it's really easy to get into. Like a lot of the time what the phases are is basically you watch one that's like really, really good, and then you really get into it and you start watching it, binging it, and just start watching it nonstop. And then you kind of get into a mellow phase where everything is kind of boring. And what you're doing, like unconsciously, when you're watching it, like after you watch that really good one, is you're trying to find something that hits you as hard as that one, because when you, like with the anime that I watched that really got me into anime, it was Erased, and it was a complete masterpiece. It was amazing. And basically, what you're trying to find is something that hits you as hard as that and is, like, as nostalgic, basically, as that. And it's really cool.
I like that word, nostalgic. I think that's an underestimated emotion.
It really is, because even if you can still have a nostalgia, I feel like you can still have a nostalgia even if you're like new to something, you can still have nostalgia for it because it connects you to something in your past.
Well, and I think the key is like to connect with those artists, to connect with those characters. So like, if there's somebody that you can.
Oh, it happens in songwriting too. Like I listened to a song, and it like connects me to another song, and then it connects me to something that happened to me, and it's really cool how music can connect.
It's funny you say that. I just watched earlier today an Adam Neely YouTube video about a song written in the 70s, I'm pretty sure, and Celine Dion like redid it, and there's a part, the video that Adam Neely did on it is just amazing. I might put that in the show notes. It's so good. Because it really it does two things. It like teaches a lot about music and goes into like deeper like why we feel stuff in music. But it also is very human.
Yeah, and so I've heard some really good stories about like music artists and stuff. And so there's Juice WRLD basically, and there's a really cool story of how he wrote one song, and the song is called Legends.
Okay.
And it's about how like all the legends like Michael Jackson and like all of his best friends died.
Wow.
And like they were all big artists.
Right.
Like, and this song was made right after XXXTentacion died, and that was really hard for him because he was like best friends with that dude. And here's a little more backstory. So Juice WRLD, he freestyles all of his songs, and that means he goes into the studio and he raps over the beat for like 3 minutes just off the top of his head, which is insane to begin with. But there are stories about the studio when he wrote Legends. The air was just heavy because he was just rapping straight from his heart. He was just singing straight from his heart.
Wow.
And it was like harrowing even, and it's insane. Like,
that's crazy. Yeah, I can see that. Like when a real, when an artist is doing his craft and it's real.
yeah.
Like
and he was only 19 at the time, which is just insane.
That's insane. That's insane. Wow.
Like, people die so fast. Like,
Some people
nowadays.
do. Some people do. It's true. In fact, one of my friends, his brother just passed away. It's really sad, and
What happened?
I don't know. But
That's
it's
sad,
yeah. Anyway, why? I wanted to ask you because you are like a video game dude.
Yeah.
Like
a
you
little
enjoy
bit.
it.
I enjoy it.
I'm wondering what games are your fave?
Okay, so that's a really broad question because I've gotten into a lot of games,
Okay.
and most of them are really dumb because my mind works in a weird way. So if something's repetitive, then I just get hooked on it. Like, so the game I've been playing recently, it's called Osu, and it's basically a rhythm game, but it takes an insane amount of skill to get good at because
It's a rhythm game. What do you mean?
so basically it's like, so imagine that it's like drumming basically, but it involves aim, and if you're in the groove, then it's addictive.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's and like just, it's a good game because it's simple. That's
Right.
Mostly, I mostly play simple games. Simple games and shooter games is what I play.
Okay.
So, what games were you in as a kid? Like just sports games? I feel like
I was, yes. I
Yeah.
pretty much played sports games.
I got into that a little bit when I was like 12.
I can't, yeah. I never grew out of it. I could not, my problem is I couldn't play like the sports games today. They're way too complex.
Oh yeah, cause like the playbooks and like
Yeah,
like,
I just play like, like Tecmo Bowl. I'd just be like Bo
Oh, yeah.
Jackson and, run around everybody.
Yeah.
Or Madden or something. But, so I enjoyed those games. And baseball games, I enjoyed playing baseball games.
those are so much fun. Oh my gosh, they're just simple.
I never got into, like, I think I enjoyed the shooter games, but I never got into
Yeah,
it.
because like I feel like when you were a kid, they weren't as fleshed out. Like,
Well, they were different. I'll tell you a game I was into as a kid. There are two games that I really enjoyed that I played on my dad's. My dad had it was a compact, one of the first portable computers.
oh, that's cool.
It was not, you would not call this a laptop. It looked
Yeah.
it looked like a sewing machine about, I don't know, 2 feet, 2.5 feet high.
You know you're old when you compare something to a sewing machine.
Oh, it was, and it literally like you set it on its side, and then you would then take the bottom, I guess it was, the top of it had a handle on it, and then you set it on its side on the desk, and then you take down and that the bottom of it, and that was the keyboard.
Oh my.
Which was connected, and so there was like a little screen, maybe about 4 inches, 3 inches. It was a small little screen, and it had 2 floppy disks. Eventually, my dad upgraded and put it on his own hard drive in there. No, was it a hard drive? I can't remember. Anyway, but so the 2 games I used to play on that all the time. One was called NFL Challenge.
Oh yeah.
And it was great because it literally was just X's and O's on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
And then I always played the Raiders because I was a Raider fan. So I, handed off to Marcus Allen or whatever. So that was a game, and you didn't do, all you did was call the plays. You just called the plays, and then it just ran it by itself. So I enjoyed that. But the other game, and probably the most intense game that I really loved to play, was a game called Wing Commander.
Ooh.
and it was a Star Wars sort of game.
Oh yeah, so like Battlefront, like kind of, but like small 4-inch screen with.
Yeah, it was small, and we eventually did upgrade, and so I did play it on a bigger screen.
Oh yeah.
But it was small. By the way, that was an expensive computer at the time. Like that was amazing. Well, anyway, but my point is, we would play. This Wing Commander game was a. It was you were a pilot, you were a human pilot, and you were fighting these cats.
That's kind of
these alien cats. And so they were,
with the art and like this.
It was pretty cool.
That's pretty.
It was cool, and it's a great game.
Like video game art was weird in like the 70s and 80s.
Well, yeah, but this was we were in the 90s by this time.
Okay, but still.
But what was cool about it? It had like 3D, like you could fly around and you could shoot. It was for the time, about as realistic as you could get. It was a great game. I'd recommend Wing Commander to anybody.
Oh yeah, totally.
If you've seen the movie, don't base the game on the movie.
Oh, especially the second movie. The second Star Wars movie?
Oh, no. You've seen the Wing Commander movie.
Oh, Wing Commander movie?
Wasn't very
I
good.
watched that.
It wasn't very good.
We should watch it sometime. We should actually watch it sometime. That'll be so fun.
Maybe we should. Anyway, so those were the two games that I really enjoyed playing.
Yeah.
I mostly played. So we had a golf course behind us.
Oh yeah.
And so my friends would come over and we'd play like football, baseball out in the golf course, and then we had a hoop in the front yard, so we'd play basketball a lot. So that's what I spent a lot of my time doing.
I mean, I'd like hang out with friends, but I don't really play sports anymore, really.
We got to change that. You were like a great athlete.
I'm still a great athlete.
That's what I said. You are a great athlete.
You said you were.
No, I said are. You just
past tense. Dad.
You just heard what you wanted to hear.
Get your grammar right.
Check the tape.
Dude, so we were talking about anime a while back.
Yeah, let's talk about anime.
Okay, so all the faces and stuff, and there's an anime that I watched a while ago. It's called Death Note, and I've
heard Death Note's really good.
It's probably one of the greatest shows, like, not of all time, but of the last 10 years, 12 years. It's really good. And what it's about is, so a guy named Light is a high school student at a school, and he's the number one student, so he's super smart. And he finds a notebook, and it's called the Death Note. And basically, if you write someone's name in it, then they die. And you can specify when they die, you can specify how they die, but if you just write their name, they die of a heart attack in 40 seconds. So it's 37 episodes of the most insane, like, smartest detective show you've ever seen in your life.
That's wild.
His rival is a guy named L. And L's been working for the police force for, like, a few years. But no one knows who he is yet. And he's never lost a case, ever. So it's the battle between Light, who's, like, really smart, and L, who's also really smart. And it's such a cool battle because you relate with Light a lot sometimes.
But he's evil.
But he's also evil. He's just... What he's trying to do with using the Death Note is he's trying to make the world a better place by killing all the bad people. Like, killing all, like, the criminals and stuff.
Okay.
So that's what his motivation is to make the perfect world. And it's just a pure masterpiece. It's really good.
Oh, I'm gonna definitely check that out. Death Note.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's good. So yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Have you watched any like really good shows that you've like really gotten into, or
Like TV shows?
Yeah, TV shows or movies or like whatever.
Yeah,
Star Trek, of course.
Star Trek. I'm a fan of the. I'm a fan of the Trek.
Oh, okay.
I also really enjoy Firefly. That was a really good show, and the movie Serenity. I enjoy.
Voltron. Remember?
That was pretty. When I was a little kid.
When you were a little kid, yeah.
Your mom and I, when we were first married, used to watch X-Files.
Oh yeah, I like.
And Fringe, we enjoyed Fringe too. So those were two movies that we enjoyed watching together.
Oh yeah. So like sci-fi stuff and like.
Yeah, I like sci-fi stuff. I like interesting like ideas.
Oh yeah.
So that usually tends to lend itself into the sci-fi genre, or horror.
Yeah, horror is fun.
Yeah, I enjoy horror.
I can really only handle horror when it's animated though. Like, yeah, it's too intense for me when it's real.
Yeah, I just saw a movie with Jim, Mr. Jim, and we watched Mr. Jones, which was a pretty good movie. That was really, I enjoyed that movie a lot. Like, it was really smart and well done and suspenseful, and yeah, hit all the right marks for me.
There are a lot of like shows that I watch that I really like, and then I look back on them and I'm like, that show kind of sucked.
Like what? What show do you look back on?
So My Hero Academia, I've watched a little bit of it, and like, you can't really watch it without having watched at least one anime before it.
Why is that?
It's just an acquired taste because like the animation style. There's a lot of, if you watch the Japanese version, which I do because I'm not a nerd and I watch sub. Actually, let's talk about why you should watch the Japanese version. So.
Yes, why should we watch the Japanese version?
Okay, so in the Japanese version, basically, so there's sub and dub, and sub is the Japanese version because it's subtitled.
Okay.
And dub is the English version, and I'm going to use those a lot.
Okay.
I use those terms a lot. So sub is basically the voice actors are, like, amazing, and they're really like in tune with their craft, and it's really fun to listen to them even if you don't know the language.
Yeah.
Like in Death Note, for example, at the end of Death Note, Light does his evil laugh, and it's so much better in Japanese than it is in English. Because
that's funny.
Because in English the voice actors are so lazy. Like
that's got to be hard. I don't know what that. I don't know.
Because it's so like. Because it's saturated. Basically, the voice acting market, I think, is saturated with especially English stuff. And they're just trying to find anyone.
Well, I will say, like, one of the things I like about anime that I've seen, I haven't seen a lot of it, is, like, it's the most...
expressive? It's really expressive.
It's very expressive, and, like, people get weirded out by sometimes, like... You know, you'll see like really like distorted faces.
Oh yeah.
Or you'll see like, you know, like you'll see the surroundings, you know, turn into like strange.
The surroundings change and it turns white and like it zooms in on the guy and then
or you'll have it'll like it'll feel almost like the end of 2001 Space Odyssey where flashes of light are flying by the guy or something. But it's really like, I think it's really just trying to get the emotion of what you're trying to feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not trying to actually portray that's what happened to the person. It's just saying this is how people feel.
The one thing, one thing I also like about anime is it makes the villain so relatable. Because, like... even if the villain is super twisted and messed up, it somehow still resonates with you. And I feel like not a lot of shows do that anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That's true. It's hard.
it's hard
Like
to
writing
do that.
writing a good villain can be difficult. It's easy to be like one dimensional.
Yeah, and especially when the villain is super messed up.
True. That's really true.
Yeah, what really helps with some shows is when they make the villain the main character, like in Death Note, Light is actually the main character. So you're kind of like unconsciously rooting for him the entire time.
There was another show like that. I think it was called. I can't remember the name of it. Dang, I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But it was about a serial killer.
People who can pull off like anti-heroes are like
Yeah,
I respect.
Dexter. That was I think that was the name of Dexter. Anyway,
Ooh, serial killer.
yeah. Well, but he was also like trying to find the serial killer. So it was like he was working with the police to try to find him. But he was
So it's
also,
like, wait, so he was.
I haven't seen the
working-
show, but I've heard it was really good.
He was working with the police to try to find him, but he was also the serial killer.
Right.
I think I've seen a show kind of like that, but
So-
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Cause Jekyll and Hyde.
Is that what Jekyll and Hyde is like?
So, yeah, basically, I haven't read the whole thing because it was for an assignment. But
Gotcha.
Because it's boring, but I mean, it's not boring, but you gotta because I already know the story, so
Right.
I already know the basic idea. So,
Well, this is Mike Levitt and
Matthew Levitt.
this has been And If Love Remains. This is like we need to do this again.
Yeah, this is so much fun.
Yeah, we got to do it again. So thanks for being on the show, Matthew.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, we'll do it again. This is Mike Levitt, and you've been listening to And If Love
Make sure you
Remains.
send me the podcast when you're done.
Okay. And you've been listening to And If Love Remains.
Peace out.